You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. My name is Arya, and this is your NXT audio update for Wednesday, January 18th, 2017. Thank you so much for listening. We are on the road to NXT TakeOver San Antonio, 10 days away, the night before Royal Rumble, live on the WWE Network. And tonight, Shinsuke Nakamura and Bobby Roode put pen to paper, signed the contract, and made everything official. But before we get there, let's kick things off at the beginning of the show, shall we? We had Sanity coming out for our opener as Nikki Cross went one-on-one with the debuting Kennedy Lewis. In 10 nights at TakeOver, Cross will be part of a fatal four-way match against Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, and yes, the champ herself, the NXT Women's Champion, Asuka. Lewis is a taller woman than Cross, but Cross took her down quickly and often. Lewis looked like she'd rather be anywhere else in the world during Sanity's entrance. I believe her only offense was a weak punch to the stomach, and Cross then picked up the win with a spinning neckbreaker. Backstage, Noe Jose said that in 2017 he is going to have a fiesta out of the ring, and he's got a fiesta in the ring. Up walked Kona Reeves, who, if you don't recall, also used to be called Noah Kakoa, Noah Patias, and just plain Noah for a while. He walked up and took offense to Jose not defending him 2 months ago when Sanity beat him up at the Toronto show, and Jose agreed to meet. Jose said to meet him in the ring later, and they could either have fun or fight. I would like to point out, as I just noticed, that never happened. Neither man was ever seen again on the show. It was never mentioned again, and I'm assuming it's there to be built up for next week, but, they left us hanging for this week without any sort of notification. We then cut away to a promo from the Revival, saying that 2016 was the greatest year of any tag team in the history of wrestling, and 2017 will be the same. Following that up, they said that the title match, the tag team title match at TakeOver, should be a triple threat match, and they should be entered just purely on their name alone. TM61, of all people, walked up and told them they need to fight and work their way up the ladder. Revival told them to shut up, calling them the bottom feeders of NXT, and vowed to cripple TM61 later tonight. Steve Cutler was out next with his own theme music and Titantron for the first time ever. Sure, his Titantron is nothing but his name, but that's better than nothing. Just ask David Flair how important it is to have a Titantron, no matter how plain and boring it is. Although David Flair's did have the look of unimpressed Ric Flair in it. They spent the match building up the simmering rivalry between Cutler's opponent, Roderick Strong, and Roderick Strong's hated rival, apparently, Andrade Cien Almas. I want to point out that Tom Phillips called Almas ACA, which led me to the obvious question as a follow-up. If Almas is ACA, am I allowed to just call him Obamacare now? While this match was all about Strong, Cutler did look good here. No one bought any of his pin attempts. They still look good nonetheless. Strong made his comeback, hitting a running knee in the corner and a sick kick for the pin. After the match, Strong was interviewed, saying he did not care what Andrade had to say. The reason he is here is the NXT Championship. Now, as Strong was backing up the ramp backwards, I wrote down Strong then obviously got attacked by Andrade Cien Almas, building heat for their eventual match. However, I then had to delete that because that never happened. Strong just walked up the ramp backwards. Okay then. Ember Moon was staring angrily at the camera and attempted to say she wanted a women's title match. However, she was interrupted by Liv Morgan, of all people. Liv said she's come a long way since she lost to Asuka in 28 seconds. Liv challenged Ember to a match, and Ember accepted. Out next, we had the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger, to bemoan his lack of success. The fans began dueling chants of Royal Rumble and number 10. So literally, if Ty Dillinger is number 10 in the Rumble, and that one annoying person that we all know starts saying how they were the one that called that and they were the one that predicted that, you can all point out that everyone is thinking that's going to happen. Just to remind whomever that might be that that undoubtedly will say that when that happens, if that happens. He acknowledged, by the way, Dillinger did acknowledge the chants, but moved on, wondering aloud if he still belongs in NXT and if he is still the Perfect 10. The fans did approve, chanting 10. Dillinger said to the fans, Mr. Regal and the people watching at home believe in him, and he was this close to winning the number one contenders match a few weeks ago. Before he could continue, though, it was time for Sanity again. It's a 1-hour show. We got to get Sanity on as many times as possible. It's like the old days on Raw when Austin couldn't wrestle, but they still got him on TV 15 or 16 times. Sanity apparently is to NXT what Steve Austin was to Raw in 1997. Anywho, Eric Young came out and said Dillinger could have it all. He could have the success. He could have the victories as long as he picks the right friends, implying he needs to join Sanity. Alexander Wolf came to the ring carrying a jacket for Dillinger. Dillinger took it from him and threw it out of the ring on the floor. Young picked it up and said that the right decision can sometimes feel wrong and the right choice can be unclear. Young got into the ring saying that 2017 could be everything Dillinger would want. All he has to do is choose to make it perfect by joining Sanity and handed Ty the jacket once again. At this point, Young dropped the nice guy act and ordered Dillinger to join. Dillinger dropped the coat to the ground yet again. So Young, pissed off by this lack of respect that Dillinger showed his jacket, attacked him. However, Dillinger came back and beat up both Young and Wolf until he was destroyed by Damo. Damo became the person in WWE to use the one-winged angel, not Kenny Omega. So Damo used the one-winged angel on Ty Dillinger and officially became the newest member of Sanity. And after commercial, it was announced officially that EY and Ty Dillinger would sports entertain each other at NXT TakeOver San Antonio. The Revival was out next to take on TM61. TM61 ran mild at the start until Dawson chopped down Thorne with a chop block to the knee. The fans did not seem terribly excited by this match, especially since it was taped the same night as last week's Revival DIY match. So this was already the second time they were seeing the Revival. And I mean, this is probably at least 2+ hours into the show at this point. And, no one cares about TM61. They're a fine team. They're good in the ring. Occasionally they do something exciting, but no one cares and no one's given a reason to care. We had a series of blind tags. The Revival hit the Shatter Machine on Thorne, but Nick Miller had tagged in and ran wild until being cut off with a spine buster. Dawson went for a Texas Clover Leaf, but got rolled up for the upset win. After the match, Revival laid TM61 out, including giving Miller a Shatter Machine, Thorne the Demolition Decapitation, and then stomped on Thorne's knee with a jump from the middle rope. Roderick Strong versus Almas was officially announced for NXT TakeOver San Antonio, while Ember Moon versus Liv Morgan was announced for next week. I haven't read the spoilers, but good luck to Liv Morgan to last longer than 28 seconds. Main event time. It's the first contract signing of the year. You know, if I know anything about NXT, we'll have about 11 more of these before the end of December. And Mr. Eagle is here to oversee the official contract signing between Shinsuke Nakamura and Bobby Roode for their NXT Championship match next Saturday night at TakeOver. If nothing else, this is a battle between two of the best themes in NXT, as the fans happily sing along to both, which I always like to point out that it's one thing to sing along to Roode's theme because it's got, lyrics and all that stuff. They sing along to Nakamura's instrumental theme song. Roode said that this will not go the same way as NXT's prior contract signings, as there will be no physicality here, because Roode said that this is a money match and will not let it be ruined by potential injury. Roode said that he followed Nakamura's career in Japan, but didn't find him worth his while. Roode brings up TakeOver Dallas, saying that the fans went crazy that night, and Nakamura had an incredible match. Roode then mentioned that Nakamura beat both Finn Balor and Samoa Joe over the last year, but he's never beat Bobby Roode. Nakamura is the king of strong style, but the fact is he has no style. He has half a haircut, looks like he belongs in a Thriller video, and does a dumb dance on top of it all. Nakamura called Roode a word for a Japanese dog, which got the fans to chant that at Roode. Nakamura said that Roode will not change NXT as long as Nakamura is champion. Roode then called Japan the land of zero talent, calling himself the biggest draw and the it factor of sports entertainment. Bobby said that the fans were trading in their pathetic lifestyles to be more like Roode, that the wrestlers in the back were starting to dress nicer to the shows, and Roode's agenda will finally be complete when he takes the NXT Championship at TakeOver. Roode signed the contract and tried to say that when he wins it, the title will become glorious, but Nakamura cut him off and said that even though Roode is one of the best, he will not take the title at TakeOver. Nakamura signed the contract and vowed to take Roode's head off in San Antonio, finishing up by saying that it will be glorious, which pissed Roode off. So that does it for this week. Next week, it is the go-home show to TakeOver, and I want to thank you all for listening, and until then, have a great week.